It's 9 p.m. on the East Coast of America, and live from the WACA studios, this is Good Night. We're back for season 3, and we decided to take the fall off so Todd, one of our producers, could hibernate. But he woke up early, and because of that, we only had a month off. And Todd is none too happy about it. You'll see him on tonight's trending segment, where we go over last week's hottest hashtags. We'll also be joined by Allyson Perron from the National Heart Association to discuss the issue that's facing every teenager in America today, and that's vaping. But before all of that, we have some news to get to. Because quite a bit has happened while Todd was hibernating. First off, the infamous Area 51 raid seemed to go off without a hitch. This is, of course, referencing the viral sensation of a Facebook event back in July, where the organizers proposed raiding Area 51 in Nevada. To quote, "See them aliens," what started as a meme quickly grew into a phenomenon as over 1 million people signed up for the event, and the U.S. government issued a statement against the raid. Well, last Friday, the day was upon us, and everything looked to have gone really well. What is now being called alien stock was about 3,000 people descending on Rachel, Nevada, ready to have fun, listen to music, and surprisingly, not get into trouble. Only about 7 arrests were reported the whole weekend, as an alien-themed music festival was in full swing on the outskirts of a military base. Attendees showed up in alien costumes, made funny signs, and took selfies with the guards stationed at the gate into the facility. A spokesman for the Air Force hilariously said that they expected more people and, quote, "dodged a bullet on this one." According to Time magazine, the bands that played ranged from crazy morph suit-wearing conspiracy theorists, brothers of alien rock, to someone by the name of DJ Hovercraft. But it seems nobody in Rachel was upset. Nobody had a bad time, and I found a new music festival to attend next year. Certainly the most wholesome ending one could have asked for after hearing the meme a couple months back. In music news, singer Celine Dion has a message for one of the forces of pop music right now. In an interview when asked about rapper and fellow Canadian Drake, she mentioned that he has asked her about getting her face tattooed on him. This wouldn't be abnormal for Drake, who has multiple tattoos of musicians that he likes. But Dion hit him with a hard no, a self-deprecating herself and telling the interviewer that her face is not her moneymaker. No word yet on if Drake has heeded her warning or not, but this is a shame. I myself like Drake and have many tattoos of my inspirations on my arms. There actually aren't any pictures of me wearing short-sleeve shirts, though, so you'll never be able to see it. But I have all manners of people there, from the Rolling Stones Kiss logo to a picture of Drake himself. I have ink of all of my favorite artists. In sports news, the Patriots are cruising along as expected, up 3-0 at this time of the recording, and we are again drawing the irk of every Patriots hater in the nation. However, during a blowout against the New York Jets, even Patriots fans were giving Coach Belichick a glare after he designed a play for star quarterback and resident GOAT Tom Brady that put him in harm's way. In the fourth quarter, up 30-7, the Patriots devised a play for their safety, but this involved Brady throwing a block. Let me repeat this. 42-year-old, 220-pound Tom Brady throwing a block against an NFL lineman. It didn't go very well as Brady just kind of face-planted, but fans were wondering why the heck this play was drawn up in the first place. It's not controversial to say that Brady is getting up there in age, so a play like this could have turned disastrous for the Patriots if something were to happen. But thankfully, nothing bad happened, so catch Brady recreating the Jerome Simpson front flip into the end zone next Sunday. And finally, in ridiculous news, government officials in Portland, Oregon are pissed after design for a new water treatment center took on completely foreseen cost. Officials approved $500 million for a new plant 2 years ago, but are now baffled to learn that the cost of the plant did not include piping that would take and distribute water in the plant. This would bring up the cost to $850 million, 70% more than originally stated. The mayor of Portland is pissed and said in an interview he would have liked some transparency on exactly what they were voting on, because I'm just now being told this information. You cannot operate a water treatment facility without piping. Who would have thought this? So in celebration of this blunder, we here at Good Night have decided to write, produce, and schedule a guest for next week's show. But don't count on us bringing any cameras to record it. That's going to do it for the news this week. Stay tuned. Lucy's Burdge This Week in Music History. And for some hits from our crew celebrating National One Hit Wonder Day. You don't want to miss that. And don't go anywhere, because we have what's trending on Twitter to discuss, in addition to an interview with Allyson Perron from the American Heart Association. And we're going to be talking about vaping. So keep it tuned right here to Good Night.
This is Lucy Burdge with Good Nights This Week in Music History. We begin in 1956 when Elvis Presley started a 5-week run at #1 on the US singles chart with Don't Be Cruel. In 1960, Chubby Checker went to #1 on the US singles chart with The Twist. In 1963, She Loves You by the Beatles was released by Swan Records. In 1968, the Beatles recorded 20 takes of Birthday at Abbey Road Studios. In 1969, John Lennon announced he was leaving the Beatles during a meeting in London with his bandmates. In 1970, Jimi Hendrix died in London at the age of 27. Also in 1970, Diana Ross started a 3-week run at #1 on the US singles chart with Ain't No Mountain High Enough. In 1973, Jim Croce was killed with 5 others when his chartered plane hit a tree on takeoff in Louisiana. In 1975, David Bowie earned his first #1 single in the US with Fame. In 1979, the Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight was released. In 2004, Britney Spears married dancer Kevin Federline in Los Angeles. The rest is kind of history. In 2007, Snoop Dogg was sentenced to 3 years probation and 160 hours of community service after pleading guilty to carrying a collapsible baton. In 2011, Adele went to #1 on the US singles chart with Someone Like You. In 2014, Taylor Swift went to #1 on the US singles chart with Shake It Off. This has been Lucy Burdge for Good Nights This Week in Music History. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Lucille Burdge for both.
Hello, and welcome to Season 3 of Good Night.
It's really Season 3 already?
It's Season 3, yeah. Time flies.
I quit.
We are continuing our National Day coverage, in which we pick out a national day that's happening this week, and we talk about it. We do some fun stuff, maybe a skit. And this week, we're doing National One Hit Wonder Day, which I think is on Wednesday.
But we could just celebrate, the first day of fall. I was thinking maybe we just get in yoga pants, drink, iced lattes.
Mm-hmm. We're doing National One Hit Wonder Day, and we went around and we asked some of the crew what their favorite one-hit wonders are. And we had them sing a little bit for you. So you're going to have to endure that, but enjoy National One Hit Wonder Day. Cameron, what's your favorite one-hit wonder?
My favorite one-hit wonder is Tonight, Tonight by Hot Shell Ray.
Can you sing some of it for us?
Tonight, there's a party on the rooftop, top of the world. Tonight, tonight, and we're dancing on the edge of the Hollywood sign. But watch out, I forget the rest.
Whoa.
Whoa. Come on.
Whoa. Todd, what's your favorite one-hit wonder?
I don't know if it's quite a one-hit wonder, but Bobby Day's Rockin' Robin. Bobby Day's not quite the one-hit wonder, but, you know, Rockin' Robin's a great song.
For those of us that weren't born in 1953, how does that song go? Mackie, what is your favorite one-hit wonder?
My favorite one-hit wonder?
Yeah.
Oh, this is hard. Take on Me.
Take on Me by Aha.
Yeah.
Can you sing some of it for me?
Take on me.
All right, Connor, what's your favorite one-hit wonder?
My favorite one-hit wonder is 99 Red Balloons, or 99 Luftballons by Nina.
Nina, can you sing it a little bit? Tell us how it goes?
Well, it's in German.
There's an English version.
Yeah. But I only listen to the German version. I have the German version on vinyl.
Yeah, you still have to sing it. You're not excused.
99 Luftballons.
My favorite one-hit wonder, Connor. Play That Funky Music by Wild Cherry. Used to be the intro to my first radio show ever.
That's a good pick. Could you sing some of it for me?
You don't want me to sing, but Play That Funky Music, White Boy. It's about the closest you're going to get to me singing.
Fair enough. We'll take it. Also, just a quick note, it is Bisexual Visibility Day, so if you have money to spare and want to support a great cause, you can go to the Trevor Project and make a donation there, and it helps a lot of people every day. So also, happy Bisexual Visibility Day.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Good Night. I think we've got an important interview coming up here. We're joined by Allyson Perron, who is the Government Relations Director for the American Heart Association. We're going to talk about a topic that everybody's been seeing on the news lately, and that's vaping and our concerns with it. Allyson, thanks for taking a couple minutes to join us here on Good Night. How are you tonight?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, we couldn't think of anybody better to have join us to talk about this crisis, and I do believe it is a crisis. And I would be very interested to hear your take as a government relations director for the American Heart Association. What are your concerns about vaping?
Yeah, we have, it's truly an epidemic at this point. We have seen youth rates of tobacco use skyrocket. We were down to single digits, about 6 or 8% of youth using any sort of tobacco product. And now we're seeing upwards of high 20% of kids using them daily, which is very frightening.
Well, as we talked about offline before the cameras came up, my background in public health, I saw this, back in 2007 when vaping became mainstream for people. I think vaping was actually designed to get addicted smokers off of tobacco. So me as a public health official, I kind of said, okay, maybe this is a good thing. But then I got wise to the marketing of vaping and realized that every time you walked into a convenience store, the vaping stuff was at eye level for younger kids. Everything looked like a flash drive or a Sharpie. And I said, this isn't for people of I'm in my mid-50s. I said, this isn't for my demographic. This is for kids. This was a targeted effort, my words, by the tobacco industry to get this into kids' hands. And I
couldn't agree more.
You couldn't agree more. Okay, so good. So we're on the same page with that. And now to hear, like Juul come out with their ads by 2021, they're going to put standards in place. 2021, it's 2019. We're talking 2 years from now. What do you think the motivation for the tobacco and the juuling industry is?
I think that they saw their consumer market shrinking and they got concerned, and the best way to increase sales is to hook a generation early. It's the same playbook that we saw, 20, 30 years ago from the tobacco industry. They're at it again. Maybe, some thought that they got into this for altruistic reasons, for helping adults quit smoking and going to a
Bless you.
safer alternative. Thank you. But what we're seeing is that kids are using this product at a rate 6 times that as adults. And that to me, that doesn't mean this is a product that's helping adults quit. This is a product that's addicting a whole new generation to nicotine. And they're using flavors. There's somewhere between 8,000 and 15,000 different types of flavors. You can't tell me that cotton candy and gummy bear and unicorn poop are designed for adults.
No.
They look flashy. They're sold in what looks like apple packaging. They're designed to be hidden so they don't smell or look like traditional tobacco products. And so parents are unaware of this. They're doing it in schools, and they're doing it across the board. They are marketing. They have been, and now they don't even need to, because if you go on social media, there's plenty of opportunity to see it, and they're certainly capitalizing on that. Juul alone saw an increase between 2017 and 2018, about 680% profit. So they are certainly, making their money on these kids. And I think, the 5 major e-cigarette manufacturers, which take up about, I think it's something like 97% of the market, are all owned or partially owned by Big Tobacco. And so, they'll come in and they'll say that they are not Big Tobacco, that they did this to help adults quit smoking, that they went to a safer alternative. And the problem is they are still hooking people on nicotine. And what we're seeing is that adults that switch to this product actually become dual users. So they're using a traditional combustible cigarette, and they're using e-cigarettes at the same time. So they're not coming off. They're not weaning off nicotine like you would with a traditional cessation device. And if, you can't say it's a safer alternative when you're having kids who would never have touched a combustible cigarette using this product. And they're doing it because the flavors are really what's hooking them. They're fairly cheap in prices. And so, over the years, what we know works for kids is that we get rid of the flavors and we make it more expensive for them. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're working on.
Well, I was surprised from the backlash that I received as a chairman of a local board of health. The tobacco industry sent lawyers to every one of our meetings and threatened to sue us. And so, of course, our local town council is like, you're going to get the town sued. And if anybody's ever met me, okay, that's fine. Go ahead. It's easy to sue. It's not always easy to win. The town manager's in a tizzy. Economic development manager saying to me, oh, you're affecting business in town. And I'm like, this is killing our children. And I was shocked, and especially you as a government relations people. I think this is an important story to tell you, is that everybody in town government told me, don't do this, don't do this. And we were one of the first towns to do it, and I'm proud that we did that, and now being proven right that this crisis. But the reply is we all smoked when we were kids, and this is safer. It's not safer. And that's the thing that I don't think parents truly understand about this. So what is the standpoint of from the American Heart Association? What is there an education that you guys are doing with parents and teachers?
So we go into the schools and we educate the parents. We also work closely with the Department of Public Health so that they can go into the schools and that they can educate parents. I think the hard part is that over the years, the tobacco control program, cessation and prevention program in the state has been woefully underfunded. And so we missed an opportunity to really get ahead of this and be educating more on this. And I think parents were caught blindsided. I think there are certainly parents who think this is safe. I think when it first came out, people were like, oh, it's just water or vape or mist, and there's nothing wrong with it. And they're not realizing that there is nicotine, which is a strong addictive drug. What we're seeing in a product like Juul in particular, they use something called nicotine salts, which absorbs into your bloodstream faster, giving you the kind of high of the nicotine rush quicker, but it also comes out of your system faster, so you will crave it more. So you'll end up using more. So one Juul pod actually equals the amount of nicotine in a pack of cigarettes. And these kids are going through these Juul pods at least one a day. So they're technically smoking a pack of cigarettes a day very early on. So, the short-term effects of the nicotine, and in addition that we're seeing actually the flavors having some short-term effect as well from a cardiovascular standpoint, is it restricts your arteries. So we're going to start to see more stroke and more cardiac arrest in the young. We're already seeing lots of cases of severe respiratory illness. Kids are getting popcorn lung really young, these are things that are going to be difficult to reverse. And, I just don't believe that we should be giving any benefit of the doubt to an industry that has lied and marketed to kids for decades.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because I was going to ask you that same question. This industry has proven that they can't be trusted. So why does everybody kind of trust them that this is a safe product? And speaking of,
I think.
Nope, go ahead.
I think hopefully, I think it's turning around. I'm hoping that all the news and all the publicity is turning around. I do think Massachusetts has an opportunity, and I'm hoping that we're the first state to ban all flavors and all tobacco products, so including menthol cigarettes, including wintergreen chew and great cigars across the board, not just in e-cigarettes, so that we're really looking at kids. If this is truly a safer alternative for adults, and they shouldn't need the flavors if this is the product they're choosing.
Now, are you hearing that up on Beacon Hill, that there's a support of it?
Yeah, so we're working really hard. We have a piece of legislation. Representative Daniel Gregoire from Marlborough and Senator John Keenan from Quincy are our champions on that bill, and they have been pushing really hard. There's a lot of support on Beacon Hill for that, and so we are hopeful that we'll see action soon.
I've seen a lot of pro your side from Lieutenant Governor Polito. I haven't really seen much from Governor Baker. Have you had any conversations with the governor?
Yeah, so he had just had his Commissioner of Public Health start to collect data and actually have people report on vaping illnesses and really seeing where we stand and then figuring out our next steps. So we're working closely with him. The Attorney General, Healy, has really been out front on this issue, as well as a number of legislators. So we are hopeful that we'll take a stand soon.
I know Attorney General Healy has filed a couple of lawsuits, and they provided resources to even like myself to kind of get the ball rolling in my town. So that's good. President Trump has come out, and he originally said last week that he thought he was going to ban it, and then he kind of took his foot off the gas. What are you hearing on the national level?
So I think, our concern always is that FDA has had a number of years to regulate this product, and they have chosen not to. We have known from other dealings with the FDA that they move slow. 2006, they were actually supposed to put graphic warning labels on cigarettes, and we haven't seen those yet. So I'm always a little bit wary on the federal government taking action. I think they just move much slower, and the tobacco industry has a lot of influence there. So I do believe that it's really the state's responsibility to step up and protect our kids. And so we're hopeful that the state elected officials won't use the fact that the federal government is looking at this to do something. Because as you mentioned, President Trump has already pulled back on that, and I'm sure that has to do with industry getting to him.
And I was just going to say that. I mean, you go through any campaign donation, OCPF report, and it's going to be littered with, on a national level, it's always going to have the tobacco industry on it. So the tobacco industry must have, through back channels go, hey, Mr. President, back off on this. And that's disappointing because this is affecting everybody. I mean, you're now seeing people die from this. And it's alarming that...
It is alarming,
that so many young people are passing away from it, and there shouldn't be any discussion. So what can the common person do? Because I've got a couple part question here, and I apologize for the long one. It's easy to say, okay, we ban it, but what do these kids do that are addicted to it? If you ban it and they can't get access to it, they're still addicted. So they might go somewhere else to get it.
You're right. Yep.
Which could be even more dangerous.
There's a number of pediatricians working on what is the best cessation device for these kids. Out of Mass General, Dr. Jonathan Winikoff is really working hard on that because you're right. There are kids that are quickly addicted to this product, and the current cessation products in the market are not tested for anyone under the age of 18. So we certainly need more funding to develop that quickly. Our hope is that, we can stop this quickly and that we can reverse the effects of this, and it's not in we haven't made enough of a time to, that we haven't got enough kids addicted that we can stop this quickly. We're not where we were 20 years ago where we gave the benefit of the doubt to the industry.
A lot of the deaths that you're hearing about are as the vaping is laced with marijuana type products, either, THC or what are you guys hearing about that?
Yeah, so I think, that what we're seeing on the deaths is that there's nothing consistent. So there is pieces that have, they're straight like jewel pods, which are a closed system, and so there's nothing added to it. Then there is some cases where people added THC to them, and that's kind of an open system where they mixed it. And then there's a third one where they kind of mix like a homemade one. There doesn't appear to be one kind of common denominator other than that they're all in a vape, and they're all have some sort of nicotine in them. And I think that's part of what the state is trying to collect. Is there a common denominator? Is it, an additive that's in there? What is causing the death or the extreme sickness?
So what can people do to help, help the cause?
So I think, the quickest thing that they can do is certainly get educated. If you're a parent, talk to your children as young as we're seeing it pop up in elementary school. Make sure that kids know that this is a harmful and dangerous product, and certainly be educated about it. Make sure that if your kids are using this, and even if you think, oh, my kids would never smoke, they don't think this is smoking. I think reach out to your elected officials and ask them to take action. Look at them to ban the flavors, and certainly, think about putting a tax on this product. E-cigarettes don't have any excise tax like regular tobacco products, and they should be treated equally. And so I think that's the best thing that they can do. If they want to get more engaged, they certainly can join the Heart Association's advocacy network called you'rethecure.org. And we make it easy to reach out to your legislators. But I would say in general that, really make your voice be heard, be talking, to your neighbors and your friends on this issue.
What's the name of that again? You'rethecure.org?
Yep.
You'rethecure.org. Okay, so we'll tag that in this interview.
Great.
Allyson, what else? What did we miss?
I think you got everything. I really appreciate your time and attention on this really important issue.
Well, Allyson Perron, the Government Relations Director for the American Heart Association, it's an honor to have you join us. I think we've got a lot of work to do, but we'll keep plugging away and keep the faith.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Allyson. We're going to take a quick break here on Good Night. When we come back, we're going to be talking about what's trending on Twitter, so keep it right here on Good Night. Welcome back to Good Night. We're going to kick it off with what's trending on Twitter, becoming a popular segment here on Good Night. We're actually joined by a new guest. We've got Stud Muffin Tom Cruise joining us tonight. There you go. And as always, Mr. Clean's stunt body double, Todd Carter. How are you guys?
Well, how are you?
Hey, not bad, not bad. Welcome to season 3, trending on Twitter. That's it, you're out?
Yep,
Walking
that's
out.
it,
All right, go.
I already did that
Go.
last
I know,
episode.
get out. Hey, Connor, back in the studio. Let's see what's trending on Twitter. Our first topic, live from Area 51. We talked about this a little bit in the news. You guys caught all this, right?
Yep, we did.
Did you guys travel out to Nevada to join the festivities?
No, I was actually sleeping.
Oh, there you go.
You
That
know,
was probably
Connor woke me up for this, so that's why we have to wear the sunglasses.
hibernating, yes, hibernating.
Yeah.
All right,
hibernation's
so
rough.
originally 3 million people signed up for this, right?
Yep, I think over that.
And 3,000 people went. So it's a typical Facebook event. Everybody says they're going, and then
no
you
one
show up
goes,
and there's
yeah.
5 people in the room. So what's your thoughts?
Um,
You believe in
Can-
aliens?
yeah, I mean, there's got to be something out there.
You know, there was a news report last week that there were actually footage of aliens existing.
I mean, that happens all the time, though, doesn't it?
I don't know. Do you believe it?
I mean, I believe that aliens exist. I don't know if they've ever visited us.
Why do you believe they exist?
I mean, when you consider just the sheer scale of the universe.
Well,
like
we're getting
it's-
deep here tonight, aren't we?
we're getting
Oh,
real
yeah,
deep.
we're getting real deep here
I
tonight.
mean, I don't
yeah.
know if you've ever seen the Hubble Deep Field pictures.
I
but,
have,
like,
yeah.
Every single one of those specks is a galaxy. And in those galaxies, there's billions and billions of stars, all that could each have planets. So, I mean, on the sheer scale of universe, like, there's got to be life somewhere else out there.
I mean, just consider the Milky Way and all the stars that we have
Yeah.
and how many planets. I mean, all you need is a planet we believe with water. Who knows? You might not need water for life. We say we do, but who knows? Something
I mean,
else could be.
all life that we know of on Earth, I believe, needs water. So
Yeah.
it's a fairly safe assumption to assume that it's an essential building block for life, I would assume.
I've
yeah,
always been told water is life. Yeah.
water is life,
Yeah.
but that's the biggest thing is distance from the sun and water, and other planets have to have that. It's just again that distance, and with just the Milky Way,
Yeah,
there's probably something out there
probably.
that's habitable.
As I slept myself through 7th grade, science class, and 8th grade science class, and 9th grade science class, even I know there's got to be other life in the galaxy, I would think.
Yeah.
So I do believe in aliens existing. I don't know if they look like the cartoon characters that we think that they look like, but I do believe in it. So I would love to see eventually all that information get released, but the government's never going to release that information. No.
No, definitely not.
All right, what's trending back there, Connor? What's our next topic? Hashtag Batman Day. Any Batman fans here?
Yeah, I love Batman.
Who
Batman's a
doesn't
great
love
movie.
Batman? I think everybody wants to be Batman, right?
Great movies, great comic books, great
TV shows.
TV shows.
Yeah, cartoons.
I mean,
What's your favorite Batman? The old series, the new movies, new Joker movie coming out in a week or two.
Yeah, that looks really good.
That does look good.
my favorite Batman, I'm gonna have to be honest, Adam West.
Adam West is your favorite Batman?
Adam West is by
That's a
far.
great pick. Yeah, some days you just can't get rid of a Bond.
Not too
Who's your favorite Tom?
not too chintzy for you?
You know, I would pick Adam West, but since you just picked him, I'm gonna have to go with Christian Bale's Batman and.
I would
It was-
agree.
it was
Christian
too
Bale
rough
was
for
the
me.
best
I'm
Batman.
a comedy guy. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
You like the comedy Batman?
I like the comedic Batman. Yeah.
Now, see, I always like the darker Batman because Batman's dark and everything like that. I would agree Christian Bale was good, but it's amazing that is Batman the most popular superhero?
You know, I
think
feel like
he just might be.
I feel like it's got to be Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at
It's
least for me
definitely
growing
between
up.
the two.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the two as a kid. Like,
And
those
why
are the
is
two
that?
big ones.
Everybody would probably want to be Superman, but Batman's
true, yeah.
Batman and
I don't know.
Spider-Man.
In our generation, I think that Spider-Man and Batman have been more like marketed to us.
No, but if you had superpowers, wouldn't you want Superman's powers?
Yeah, probably.
True, but I think part of the appeal of Batman is that he doesn't have powers.
Right.
Like it could be anyone.
Yeah.
Like if you've got enough money, it could be you.
Well, brains and everything else, but yeah, all big Batman fans. Connor, what's next on what's trending on Twitter? Climate strike. Did you see that today in D.C.? Blocking traffic? And I'm sorry, I respect everybody's point of view in there, but if you're making me late for work today because you're dancing in the street, get out of the road. I got to go to work. What do you guys think?
I mean, it's definitely necessary, though. It's something that a lot of our generation feels doesn't get enough attention.
Mhm.
Like, with climate change, there is a doomsday coming soon.
When's it coming?
I don't know personally.
Let me ask you a serious question, though. And I agree with you. And as you know, I'm very much into conserving the environment, and I've worked a lot to, make sure like my community is safe and conserved. So I do believe in climate change, and I do believe it's an issue. I don't believe we're going to die in 12 years. And what is your guys' generation going to think when you wake up in 12 years and we're all still here? Are you going to feel like you were lied to? Or are you going to feel like you guys made a change, you guys changed everything, so that's why you're still here? Let me ask you that. Because when I was your age, the ozone layer was going to fade away and we were all going to burn up and die, and we didn't. And I'm in no way here saying tonight that climate change isn't an important issue, but I don't think we're going to die in 12 years. What do you guys think?
I think it's just something we need to act on.
Okay.
Something that we need to put a little more effort and energy into before it becomes a major problem, before something happens. I don't think it's going to be 12 years. It might be, 30, 50 years down the line. But if we keep going the way we're going to get there. You can only push things so far.
Well, let me ask you a serious question. What does the government do well? Almost nothing, right? I'll say that as probably the most political guy that you know. All government almost does nothing well. So why would you want the government to run such an important issue like this? Shouldn't it be about education and doing better on the local level and in the home rather than instructing your world leaders to make this work?
Yeah, and I wonder sometimes if that's the goal, is less about getting the government to change it and just raising more awareness for it. Because if you do block off the streets and you make people late for work, they might be upset about it, and they might be upset about, the whole idea that you're trying to push for. But maybe it also gets them to think about it. Think, hey, what they're talking about, that actually is a problem.
Mhm.
Maybe we actually need to do something about this.
So what do you guys think big government should be doing now that they're not doing about climate change?
I mean, I think I've spoken to them, Tom. You wanna
Yeah, I
jump in?
mean, obviously I don't have all the answers. Otherwise, I might be a government official myself.
Well, you should be. Run for office.
Yeah, maybe I will someday.
No, but what would you do? If we made you in charge for a week, what would you do?
I mean, I would definitely try to push for, less carbon emissions, because that, greenhouse gases is just going to raise the temperature of the earth even more. I mean, there's been a lot of strides made towards electric cars as opposed to, gas running cars that emit greenhouse gases. So I'd definitely try and make a push in that direction for consumers to push towards electric cars as opposed to gas cars.
But electric cars, right or wrong, but factually, they're more expensive.
They are.
Your generation has student loan debt that my generation didn't have. So you have student loan debt, and the government's asking you to buy a more expensive car.
Well, I mean, we got to find ways to make them cheaper. And
I agree. And I agree with you. I mean, I would like nothing more than this country to get off fossil fuels. I mean, I would thoroughly like it.
Yeah.
But we're talking, that's going to take more than 10 years, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to take
way
more than 10
It's
years
gonna take a long
to
time.
do
No,
it.
I mean, another thing that a lot of people are doing is, I'm even trying to do it here and there myself, is cut down a little bit on the beef consumption. Try and move maybe to some alternatives like a chicken or a turkey. I know it's not as tasty, but I mean, one of the sad facts is, cows are one of the biggest pollutants out there. Just the sheer amount.
They fart.
Yeah.
But the world
It's
had
weird to
cows
say, but-
before they had cars.
Yeah, but not as many, because what we're doing is we're just raising them nowadays to, end up eating them later on. It's a factual thing. There are more cows now than there were even before. and it's because we raised
Is
them.
and I honestly don't know. There are more cows in the world now than
There
there
are more
used to be.
cows.
As the population goes up, the demand for beef products goes up as well, especially here in America.
All right, so Tom, if we were going to make you boss for a week, we're going to ban fossil fuel or cows? Which one?
I would probably push towards fossil fuel first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Connor, what's our last trending topic on Twitter? First day of fall. Means football season. Means I have more yard work to do because I got to rake leaves, which I'll do anything in the yard except for rake. I hate raking leaves. What do you guys think of fall?
I mean, we're getting in yoga pants, right? Getting our
I'm not
chai
getting in yoga
lattes
pants.
or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
The pumpkin lattes.
I love
Um,
fall. It's a beautiful time of year.
Especially in New England. Especially in
Yeah.
New England.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
true. You have to say that because, you know, we do live in New England and we're kind of blessed by that. We
Yeah.
get to see the fall foliage.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely a nice time of
Get
year.
to see all the dead leaves on the trees, but they are pretty. No, they are pretty.
They are pretty. They're hard to clean up.
You guys pumpkin spice people?
No.
No. No,
No,
neither
not
am I.
really.
I like the smell of it, but you know,
I like
everybody's
that.
like, oh, you got to get pumpkin spice coffee. I'm not a pumpkin
No,
spice
I'm
coffee.
very vanilla in my taste. Like I take my coffee black.
There you go.
Yeah.
But
I like going apple picking though.
you do?
Apple picking's really
Yeah.
That's a ton of fun.
Okay.
I actually just did that this weekend.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
It was Brooksby Farm.
Bee Farm.
Did you get a lot of apples?
Oh yeah, got a big bag of them.
There you go.
Oh.
Is that your favorite thing about fall? Mine
It's-
means it's football season, so.
I mean, I love football season too,
Yeah.
but you can get a little bit of it in the summer.
Red
but-
Sox are not going to be in the fall classic this year, unfortunately, right?
Yeah, but
Mm.
I mean,
There's always next year.
you've got the Patriots, that's
Yeah.
always great to watch, and they're off to a really good start. So
It's early.
it's early, but
It's early.
I like where we're trending.
All right. Last topics on fall. Anything?
I got nothing.
Got
I
nothing.
mean, yeah,
All
for
right.
me-
Well, that's going to do it for this week's Trending on Twitter. We're going to take a quick break here on Good Night, and we'll be back to wrap things up. Stay tuned.
Also, just a quick note, it is Bisexual Visibility Day, so if you have money to spare and want to support a great cause, you can go to the Trevor Project and make a donation there, and it helps a lot of people every day. So also, happy Bisexual Visibility Day.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back here to Good Night. That's going to do it for the premiere of Season 3, believe it or not. 3 seasons. I want to thank Todd, Tom, and Connor for producing a great show again tonight. We'll be back again and every Monday, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, with a couple of things about pop culture, some news, and always a good interview. If you want to be part of the program, you can always go to our website, goodnighttv.com. That's goodnighttv.com, and we'll be back next Monday. So keep it here, right here on Good Night.